We've got the new Buick Enclave.
Enclave, got it. Go for it.
Here we go. Oh yeah.
Gone is the V6. So what's under the hood of this thing now?
A 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with an 8-speed automatic transmission, 328 horsepower and 326 pound-feet of torque. Standard all-wheel drive in Canada, but there are front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options in the US.
Here's some good news. You can use regular fuel, and with every fill, you get 655 kilometers or 407 miles of range. So this has more torque, more horsepower than the old V6. So don't cry any crocodile tears. This is actually better to drive. Right now we're going to get into, it's a Buick. It must come with some nice stuff. What are the key standard features?
The base trim comes with a 30-inch diagonal display, wireless Apple Carplay and Android Auto, a wireless charger, leatherette upholstery, heated front seats, 8-way power driver's seat, a 6-way power passenger seat, heated steering wheel, a 12-speaker Bose sound system, HD surround vision, and a power liftgate.
All right, Andrea, what are we gonna put it in?
You gotta put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit that notification bell, you'll be notified when all of our reviews drop, and then you can watch them.
And we do this, the couple car review twice a week. The first one drops on Wednesday.
We put another one out on Saturday.
So make sure to like and subscribe, and also follow along on Instagram. It's Motormouth_Andrea to see what's up behind the scenes and to get a question in. More on that halfway through the video. For me, it's Motormouth_Auto, and the links are below the like button. So General Motors is putting a lot of emphasis on their large SUVs. This is a crossover-based SUV, and even the full-size body-on-frame SUVs have all been updated. We drove the Chevy Traverse, and we're very impressed with that. This is based on the same platform. Does the Buick make it better?
I think it does. You know, this comes standard with active noise cancellation for the driveline and the engine. I do find under heavy acceleration on the highway when passing, I do hear the engine noise creep in. I think that they could have done a little bit better job with that. Now, quiet tuning is standard, as well as an acoustic windshield. So they're trying to definitely keep the cabin quieter.
The Invista? What are we in?
No, we're in the Enclave, Zach. He has such a hard time with the E's.
So there's the GX. What's that one? The Encore.
Encore GX.
Yeah. Then there's the... See, you can't even remember it.
Oh, are you telling me?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I can name them right off. Envista, Envision, Enclave.
And Insight.
Not in Insight. That's Honda.
I'm joking. I get confused. I get confused by a lot of things, Andrea. What I'm
You're not the only one, Zach.
What I'm not confused about, Andrea, is the fact that they do have an adaptive suspension. It's standard on this Avenir trim, and available one down from that. So if you want it even more plush, you can make it that way.
Absolutely. Now this has 7 standard cameras, including front and rear and a surround view. Available 2 extra if you want it to make 9. Does this come with Super Cruise? Stick around. We have that question in Questions, Coffee, and Cars halfway through the show. We'll answer it for you.
So I thought I was going to pick up a really soft, mushy Buick. And when I drove it, I'm like, it's not soft and mushy. It's just a nice balance of comfort. This one does have the adaptive suspension, but the steering isn't totally vague and light. You actually get some communication through the chassis. It's a really well-calibrated, and I think General Motors does a good job with this, a well-calibrated suspension.
Yeah, it is, and you're right, it's not too soft. I don't like a soft suspension. Some Lincoln models have a very soft suspension, and that may appeal to some. It just doesn't appeal to me. This is kind of a mix of both. What I do like about this is maneuverability. It is just so easy to drive in the city. You don't feel like you're driving such a large vehicle. You won't feel a lack of power in this model. Acceleration from a stoplight is excellent, and passing power on the highway is terrific.
And because it's based on the same platform as, say, the Chevrolet Traverse, you would think it would look the same, but they've done a great job of camouflaging the same platform. Totally unique looking at the front. And at the back, I like the square looking side-to-side light that goes from one brake light to the other. I think it gives it a chunky look at the back and a flowing look at the front.
Yeah, and this Avenir model has some unique features like walk-up animation, lighting. The Enclave gets updates to the grille, front and rear fascia, and the new Buick logo. It's longer, wider, and taller than the previous model. It gets 7.3 inches of ground clearance and comes standard with LED headlamps, LED tail lamps, power folding exterior mirrors, body colored door handles, chrome exterior accents, 20-inch wheels, available 22-inch, which we're riding on, and a temporary spare tire.
There's also a sportier version called Sport Touring and comes with unique features like high gloss black grille, black exterior accents, ST badging, 20-inch machine-faced wheels with high gloss black inserts. And then we turn our attention to the inside, and this is where everything really pops and why you might want to get a Buick over some of the other General Motors 3-row SUVs. This interior is absolutely beautiful. At first look, anybody that gets in that seat's going to go, wow, this is something.
Yeah, I mean, the color combo in here is beautiful. Feels quite upscale. The materials feel very good in this model with the leather interior. This has got a floating center console, so you've got tons of storage underneath the floating center console for a large bag. And this is really big. You also get a nice tray. The only thing I don't love is all this piano black here. It's not my favorite. I wish they went with some other sort of texture, maybe even a blue leatherette.
You know what they've done though really nicely is a combination of materials. So on the dash, you've got this perforated vinyl dash pad. You've also got a textured piece, blue on the dash. The door cards have the beautifully done speaker grills and a real nice combination of wood, aluminum. I mean, it looks really good. And you're right, if they had taken that matte finish that's around the door handle area and put it here, they would have been a 10 out of 10.
Now, I can see that Buick has tried to compromise on having some buttons and then other items being done in the screen. There is somewhat of a balance in here because there are some hard keys where you can control your temperature, your climate. There's a volume knob at the center console, which is super easy to access there. And then in the screen is where you've got to put on your heated seats, ventilated seats, but there is a tab at the bottom. Guess what? The heated steering wheel button is on the heated steering wheel.
Yeah. It's nicely done.
Yeah.
Then you've got the mode button over here on the left, the all-wheel drive. You can run this in two-wheel drive or all-wheel drive if you like. So I think it's very logical and simple, but really nice looking on the inside.
And this 30-inch diagonal screen is standard across all models, comes standard with wireless Apple Carplay and Android Auto.
Available features include a 16-speaker Bose sound system, panoramic sunroof, ventilated front seats, massaging front seats, heated second-row seats, a head-up display, a one-touch folding second-row seat, and power folding third-row seats.
Now, if you're looking for other color combos on this top trim, they're available. Something darker like an ebony, but there's also a light gray and mocha. Now, on the base model, the good news is you don't only have to go with a darker interior like the ebony, there's also a sandstone.
If you're interested in an Enclave, it only comes with captain's chairs in the second row. When you get in, of course, there's plenty of leg room, plenty of headroom. The seats recline. They also go fore and aft. There's automatic climate control back there, and you have USB ports. How does it stack up?
Comparing the Enclave to the Lexus TX, the Enclave has 44.3 inches of front row legroom, which is over 2.5 inches more space than the Lexus. Second row legroom at 41.5 inches is 2 inches more than the TX.
This is one of the biggest in the class. Just one button to get the second row to slide forward. You basically walk on in. When you do, there's good legroom, good headroom. It's very comfortable. It's a big third row.
Third row legroom for the Buick is 32.1 inches. It does fall short to the TX by almost 1.5 inches.
When you lift the power tailgate on this model, even with all 3 rows of seats up, there is a lot of space behind the seats. Underneath, there is a large bin. This particular trim has power folding 3rd row seats.
Cargo space behind the 3rd row is 22.9 cubic feet. Behind the 2nd row, 57.1 cubic feet. And overall space is 97.5 cubic feet, which is very similar to the TX.
All right, you've got some good questions about this Insight Enclave. I know it's the Enclave.
Now he's pushing it, isn't he?
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
How would you compare the Avenir trim of the Enclave to a fully loaded Traverse or X3 in terms of comfort and features? I'm seriously considering this car for purchase in 2025, especially with the blue and gray interior. Side question, how gray are the seats in real life? They tend to read more beige to me in photos.
They look more white to me.
Yeah.
They don't look gray, they look more white.
They have a gray undertone, but boy, they come across as white, not beige.
You are going to have to, if you get this combination, get all-weather mattes,
Yeah.
dark. And I'm surprised they didn't do what's called a deviating color. So do I don't like blue carpets, but if you did a black carpet with the rest of it like this, I think it would look really smart.
I think a navy blue carpet would look absolutely gorgeous. So I would go for that.
I'm not a big fan of blue interiors, but this contrasty, it looks really smart.
Look at the steering wheel, how good it looks.
Yeah, it looks
good.
really good in the video. It looks very good in person. Okay, feature set compared to what were the other ones?
So Traverse, fully loaded Traverse, and the X3. So I'll just start with the Traverse. So that top trim Traverse is the RS model.
Before we go on, it is based on the same platform engine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's big, like Traverse and the Enclave are large 3-row SUVs. So the issue with the RS, I don't have a problem with it, but it has some red interior accents, which some people aren't crazy about. And then you've got the black exterior accents as well. Lots of value with the RS. You're going to pay more for the Avenir model on the top trim than what you are going to pay for the RS model Traverse. I don't know what I would go. I mean, this definitely feels more luxurious, sophisticated, and upscale.
Yeah, it's a much nicer interior. But the other question was X3, right?
X3,
we're getting, it's booked in the next few weeks. So we have to wait until we get that one. But it's a much, much smaller vehicle. It's going to have more European, of course, driving dynamics. And everything is going to be pushed into the touchscreen, which is still kind of the case with this one. But you know what? I think this, I picked this up, Andrew, and I got it and I'm like, wow, General Motors is up their game with this.
This is absolutely stunning inside. As for comfort level of vehicles, well, the X3 is comfortable. The previous model, the new one we haven't driven yet, as Zach said, but I don't really love the interior of the new BMW models, or frankly, the exterior design. But looks are subjective, so you'll have to decide with that. This is comfortable, and the Traverse is comfortable. Super Cruise, or shall I be shopping for an Acadia instead? I really don't understand why GM isn't making it available in more models.
Well, it's in this trim, and Super Cruise is available now in a Buick, in the Enclave.
Yeah, it's the first time in a Buick, and every trim has it available. You have to pay extra for it, but you can get it on every trim. That seems to be a massive screen. Does it seem too busy information overload?
Well, we've driven so many General Motors products with this screen, and actually a lot of competitors have similar style screens. I'm here to tell you, you get used to it. Would I like to see more physical buttons? Yes, but you know what? It's not the end of the world, and I find their infotainment systems really easy to use.
Intuitive, for sure. I don't find this overwhelming at all. If you ask me about the Lincoln Nautilus and so many screens that it has, I'm overwhelmed in that vehicle. I don't find the case at all in this Buick.
And now it's time for our hot topic. What's this one, Andrea?
Hi, love your channel. Are all Buicks sold in Canada made in China now?
Well, here's the good news. This is made in America, in the heart of General Motors in Michigan.
There's only one model actually that's made in China, and that's the Envision. The Encore GX and the Envista are both made in South Korea.
All right, let's get into the vital stats. The price is a little bit higher than the others, but you've got to think, Andrea, are you going to get a Suburban or a Tahoe?
Yeah.
You might get this and get all the features. Let's get into it.
Let's start with pricing. We'll do Canada first and then move on to the US. Pricing includes freight, PDI, and fees. The base model starts at just over $60,500 and the top trim is just over $70,500. In the US, the first front-wheel drive model starts at just under $46,000 and the top all-wheel drive model is just over $61,000.
Here's the all-wheel drive fuel economy, 12.3 liters per 100 kilometers city, 9.9 on the highway. That's just 19 miles per gallon in the city, 24 miles per gallon highway. It can tow, though, 5,000 pounds, and the warranty is 3 years, 60,000 kilometers, or 36,000 miles. In the U.S., you get one scheduled visit for maintenance, up to 12 months or 12,000 miles. So you got some money to spend, you want some luxuries, premium 3-row SUVs. What else can you choose?
For your consideration, 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Up first is the Acura MDX with a 3.5-liter V6, 290 horsepower, and a starting price of just over $69,500.
The Infiniti QX60 with a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder with 268 horsepower and a starting price of $65,000.
The Lincoln Aviator with a 3-liter twin-turbo V6, 400 horsepower, and a starting price over $82,000.
The Lexus TX350 with a 2.4-liter turbo 4-cylinder, 275 horsepower, and a starting price of $72,000.
So there are 4 3-row premium SUVs for you to consider.
Lightning round, 2 things we like, 2 things we'd like to see improved.
I really like the power this offers on a large SUV.
The interior is gorgeous.
I'd like to see a bench seat offering as an option, so it's just more versatile for families.
Ditch the piano black, and this is a 10 out of 10. So there it is. It's the Buick, wait for it, Andrea, Enclave.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.